Hi, welcome to Gluten-Free Meal Prep and Planning. This week going super easy. Our daughters had friend sleepover last night, so going to try to get this all done before they wake up. Breakfast is going to be super easy. We're just going to do protein shakes for breakfast, use up the almond milk that I have left over from doing overnight oats the past 2 weeks, so do a little switch up. And then lunches, it was let's see what we have in the freezer, and so we can use some stuff up. So I have a steak that I'm going to cook up, some ground turkey, and going to pair that with broccoli and brown and wild rice. So that goes super quick. And then dinner is just going to be my go-to chili recipe. It's quick, easy. Crock pot does most of the work. And then we have a nice hearty dinner for the week in this horribly cold weather that we're having. And then I do have to prep some more muffins for my daughter and stuff like that. But super easy, super quick. Let's get to it. Okay, so for the chili, we are letting the pan heat up on medium-high heat. We're going to take 2 pounds of lean ground beef and stick that in. We're going to cook it, chopping it up with a wooden spoon for about 4 to 5 minutes until it starts releasing fat. Now that it started releasing fat, we're going to take 1 large onion chopped, and we're going to add that in and cook another 4 to 5 minutes until the onion is tender. Now that our onions are tender, we're going to add in our spices and our garlic. We got 3 minced cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 tablespoons of chili powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of dried oregano, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper. And we'll just stir this up and let it sit for about 30 seconds, and then we'll combine the rest of everything into the crock pot. Now we're going to combine everything in the crock pot. So here you got the meat, onions, garlic, and the rest of the spices. I know, before I have put all the things in and then just added the meat and it splashes everywhere. Don't do it. And here we got 2 cans, 15-ounce cans of red kidney beans and a 15-ounce can of black beans. We drained and rinsed them. Now 30 ounces of tomato sauce, a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes and their juices, and a 10-ounce can of diced tomatoes with green chilies. And we'll stir that all up. And you can cook this on high for 3 to 4 hours or on low for 6 to 8. So we're going to plug it in and let the crock pot do the rest of the work. The chili's all done. I let it cook on high for 3 hours. We'll be reheating it throughout the week, so we don't want it to get overcooked. So I will just put these into the Pyrex, and we will serve it out into bowls for dinner and reheat it in the microwave throughout the week. I hope you enjoy. Hi. Every now and again, I like to go through my freezer cupboards, see what I have left over from past recipes, and see what I can use up. Save a little bit of money and make sure nothing's going to waste. So this week for lunches, I'm going to do brown and wild rice, some ground turkey with it, some broccoli, and then I also have a piece of steak I'm going to cook up. and it'll make a healthy and nutritious lunch with your protein, your veggies, and a little bit of starch. And then, yeah, just quick, easy, no waste. And let's get into it. While I let the pan heat up, I am going to disperse my rice. I use about a half a cup or so in each container for lunches. And I don't even cook this first. It cooks up fine when reheating the food for lunches. And these are the worst to open up. So you do have to break it up a little bit. It's a little all stuck together. But I do, it's roughly a half a cup in each. And then I'll do that for all of these. Now I'm going to take the frozen broccoli florets and cook them just until they are unfrozen. And then they will cook the rest of the way when I'm heating up my food, because I still like the broccoli to have a little crunch into it and not, you know, soggy and falling apart. You can get the microwave ones too, and then just cook it for like a minute less than what the package says. I had a big bag of broccoli, so we're going to do it like this. So we're going to cook that until it's all thawed out. Okay, now our broccoli is all defrosted, and we are going to measure that out and put 1 cup of broccoli per container for the lunches. Now we're going to cook the ground turkey. I like to season it with ground cayenne pepper. You can season it with whatever you like. I just like it to have a little spice and a little flavor. I don't really measure it out. I just kind of coat the entire top of the meat like that. Flop it in. And then we'll cook that all up and add it to our containers. So now that ground turkey's done, we take about 3/4 of a cup, measure it out, and put it in with our rice and our broccoli. And then we'll cook our steak up to make up for the one that we don't have enough meat for. Now we're going to cook up the steak. I cut it up into chunks and added some salt and pepper, and then heated up some avocado oil. And we're just going to cook that up, and we'll add that to the container. Probably have a little left over that we'll just snack on now. Now that the steak tips are done, we'll measure that out and we'll stick it into the container, and our lunches will be done for the week. And there you have it. Enjoy.